Hey guys, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. I am so excited for today's video because I am kicking off some Christmas DIYs and it is the 5 under 5 DIY challenge, which I will explain a little bit more about as we get into the video. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing and becoming my crafting BFF. If you do like any of the projects in today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. But let's go make some DIYs. For this project, you're just going to need a frame, preferably a little bit of a smaller one because you're going to want to hang it from your tree, and then also 3 of the smaller sized craft sticks. Now I want my finish on these craft sticks to match the finish of my frame. So I took some antiquing wax. You could also take some watered down brown paint and give them a stain, and then I just dry brush some white paint onto them. So now I'm going to remove the back of my frame, and I'm not going to need to put it back in, so I can put that aside to use for another project. And I just take some needle nose pliers to remove all of these little pokey bendy things, so that way nobody's going to hurt themselves on those. So to brighten up my frame, because the paint on my craft sticks was a little bit brighter than this, I really like that brighter color, so I am just dry brushing over the frame to kind of help match it. So now we're making a window frame, so I'm going to use the craft sticks to make the cross beams for my window. So my first stick I just cut down to match the horizontal cross beam there and get that kind of centered in the middle. So now I need to make the vertical cross beam. However, the craft sticks were too short to do one, so I had to do 2. So I had to cut it down to size so that way I could glue 2 of these onto that middle cross beam. And here's what I mean. So see how that second stick will fit there as well. So you just need to make sure you have enough space to be able to glue both of them on there, and they will sit flush. So I'm just using some hot glue to glue these in as well. Now you can embellish your window any way that you would like. I'm just taking some spare little sprigs of evergreen and some eucalyptus that I have, and I'm just tying them together to make a little swag. And then I also have this cute little cardinal ornament that I've had for so long I don't even know where I got it from. And so it possibly even came from Dollar Tree. I have no idea, but I'm just going to glue that onto the bottom because I thought that was super cute. And I have seen so many on Pinterest like this, like windows. You could even make a big one out of a big frame to make a great big display with, would be absolutely darling. And you could also put a back in here with a really beautiful wintry picture that would be cute as well. I wanted you to see the lights from my Christmas tree since I'm making an ornament out of this, so I chose to leave mine open. And I did just put a little twine bow at the top of my swag, and now I just tied off some of the twine to make my little hanging element, and I'm just going to use some hot glue to glue that on. And I just looped it around and tied a double knot into the bottom, and then just with some hot glue, and then after it dries I go in and reinforce it. And then looking at my cross beams, I decided to put a little bit of hot glue there to reinforce that also. Look at how absolutely beautiful and cute this is, and it was so easy. I absolutely love how this turned out. It is the 5th of the month today, which means it is the 5 under 5 DIY challenge. I host this with my good friend Missy from the Crafty Cove, and I am so excited to introduce you to Krista from Krista's Crafty Life. Krista is amazing. You are going to love her DIYs. If you've watched this challenge ever, you've probably seen her videos because she participates the majority of the time. I'll leave a link to her channel down in my description box, as well as to the playlist. There are so many different creators, and this month our theme is Farmhouse Christmas, so you're going to get all of those fun Christmas vibes and those fun farmhouse feels. So be sure and click that link in my description box, or I will pin it in my comments. If you are new or are coming from the playlist, welcome. I would love to become crafting BFF, so make sure and hit that subscribe button and we can craft together here on YouTube every week. And if you are returning or have been here before, it is great to have you back. Now let's go make some more DIYs. I was so surprised and so excited when I found this sled at my local thrift store for just $2. I knew that I just had to have it, and there were so many possibilities, and I truly love how this turns out. So I am just taking a wipe and making sure that I wipe everything down, making sure that it's completely clean. And then on these flat surface boards here, I am just going to give them a couple coats of white paint. You can use whatever color you would like and whatever type of paint you would like. What we're going to do is a reverse stencil on the top of this with some snowflakes. Now I only did these 3 boards in the white because those were the only areas that my stencil was going to go. However, once I go to distress this, I had wished that I had done the crossbar in some white paint. I do have a solution for that, but I'm just letting you know ahead of time that I wish I had painted that. That way when I distressed it, that white would peek through. I did use a cutting machine to cut out a couple of snowflakes, but fear not, if you do not have a cutting machine, you can just cut some snowflakes out of cardstock. You can even use like those jelly window clings that you get at Dollar Tree and place down anything to cover the white area with whatever pattern you would like, and then you'll spray paint over it or paint, and that way it will create the reverse stencil. I do take this outside to my little box spray paint studio, whatever you'd like to call it, and I just give this a really good coat. I just have to go over it once with some matte black spray paint. Now, of course, you can customize this to be whatever colors you would like. I am trying to make this more wintry than Christmassy because I do want to leave this up all the way through February if possible. So I'm just making sure that that area all over where those snowflake stencils are completely gets covered. And then after that first top layer dries, I'm going to lift it up and paint the bottom of it. I want to make sure that the complete rest of the area on this sleigh is painted black. So you can do this by hand and not have to do spray paint if you would like. That is completely optional. The next step is to bring it inside, let it dry before you bring it inside. But then we're going to take the stencil off our little snowflake to reveal our reverse stencil. So just so you know, when you do this, that spray paint holds down whatever you've used there pretty good if it's got an adhesive on the back. So it will take you just a minute to kind of peel that off, but just be delicate and go slow so you're not going to chip or remove any of your paint. So after I remove my stencils there, I am just taking an emery board. You can use whatever sandpaper or finger sander that you have or that you like, and I am just going over this to give it a very rustic look. What happens is it takes the little bit of layer of the black paint and it makes that white paint come shine through there, and I love how that looks. And this is where I said I had wished that I had done the crossbar in the paint so that way the white paint would show through on that. But I do just take a little, and by little I mean the littlest amount of white paint on a chip brush and kind of very lightly dry brush, so it does look like it has a little bit of white there as well. And then I very lightly wipe this down with just like a baby wipe because I don't want to smear the black paint over our snowflakes, but I do want all the dust removed. Now I just take some rope from Dollar Tree and I unravel it and take one of the strands and get some painter's tape on the end of it and make sure it is tight and as small as I can get it, because I'm going to feed it through that little hole that was provided, and then turn it around and flip it through the other side so that creates our little rope tie there. So after deciding how long I want this rope to be, I just flip the sleigh over and I am just tying a knot in either side. I'm just going to trim that rope down so that way I can easily get a knot tied into the little area there. And then what I'm going to do is any excess rope, just cut that as close to the knot as I can so that way that you're not left with any that's showing. And I'm just using some hot glue to make sure that those knots are not going to fray or come untied. Now to get the kink out of this rope, since it's kind of curly from being wound up in rope, I'm just spraying it with some water, and then I hang it from like a door handle for like an hour or something, and it really straightens that rope out. So the longer you hang it, the straighter it will be. But look how adorable this turns out. I think this is going to be perfect for all winter long. You can even spruce it up for Christmas and then transition it into winter if you would like. I just absolutely love this. I've had this little nativity ornament for a little while, and I really felt like if I was to put it on my tree, it might kind of get lost in there, and I really did want to showcase it since we do like to have a lot of decor that does remind us of the true meaning of Christmas and the nativity, and I just love it. It's this little like wrought iron. It's really flat. It's just very simple. Very rustic. So I'm just cutting off the little hanger from it with some wire cutters here, and then I will just sand that down so it's not sharp at all. And I just used some elephant chalk paint and some silver lining and just kind of stained these little paint sticks that I got at Lowe's. And you can see how cute that looks. And I'm just doing that to kind of measure for where I want to cut the paint sticks down to, so that way I'll have a background. Now you can do whatever you would like with an ornament like this for a background. This is just to give you some inspiration or some ideas here, but I'll just cut these down. You can cut them down however you would. If you have some miter shears or something like that, that would probably work as well. But you can see that I love the shape of that, how it fits. So I just glue the ends I cut off on the back with some wood glue and hot glue, and that's what's going to hold all of this together. Now I want to brighten it up a little bit, so I'm just using some plaster chalk paint and just doing a very heavy dry brush on here. So that way that kind of rustic metal, it's like a rustish brown color, it's not quite black, will really pop against this, and it's just going to look like really weathered wood there. And I kind of decide that it needs a little something extra, so I stain a few more pieces of my painter sticks, and I'm going to cut them. I'm going to make a little roof line, like a barn roof line on this. So on the ones that I'm going to put on my roof, I do stain a little bit darker, and then you can see those ones I cut at an angle. I'm kind of making a little roof line there and just gluing those with some other little pieces. So there we go, looks kind of like a little barn or a little house. And then I'm just gluing these together for the roof. Now you could easily use one of the little houses that you find at Dollar Tree or whatever you can find, but I thought this was super fun, super cute, and I think it's just gonna look really cute when it's done. So I glue the roof on here, and then I do a little dry brushing on that, and just use some gel super glue to glue this nativity on. Now it looks absolutely beautiful the way that it is here. I just love how simplistic this looks. But you know me, I have to kind of extra everything. So I have some barn wood from a barn that we tore down a little while ago. So I just take a couple of pieces of that. This would be completely optional. You could find anything else that you would like to do with this to add a different background to it. But I really liked the idea of using something that was special to us, like our barn that we tore down and the barn wood from that, and how simple of the nativity with the stable and the wood. I just thought it all went really well, and the special meaning that it had for my family. But this is really all there is to this. It's very simple, but I think it is so beautiful and so elegant, and what a wonderful reminder of the true meaning of Christmas. Are you guys on Instagram? If you are, I would love if you would come and find me. I am Farm Charm Chic over there. I'll leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. But come and see what I'm working on. I post there quite a bit. I like to show you things that I'm working on or when I have videos ready. It's just another place to stay in touch. So if you do come find me, remember to send me a DM and say hi, because I do love meeting new friends. I found this cute little planter box. It's just a little wooden box at the thrift store, and I've seen these there on several occasions. So if you ever find them, pick them up, because they're usually pretty inexpensive, and I just feel like there is so much versatility with them. So I'm just taking a stencil from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to stencil onto the front a little sign or saying, I'm just putting Holly and Ivy Company or Holly and Ivy Co. on here in these stenciled letters, maybe just to kind of give it like a shipping container type of vibe, or I don't know. I just thought it was really cute and really rustic, and since I'm going for everything themed after the Holly and the Ivy in this particular video, I thought that would be really cute to put on the front of this box. As a tip while I'm stenciling, I'm putting some painter's tape over the letters next to the letter that I'm stenciling. So if I happen to go over, I'm not going to have anything come through the other letters. So just keep that in mind when you're stenciling. These Dollar Tree stencils actually work really well. And I just used one of the Dollar Tree stencil brushes, but I did trim off the bristles a little bit so it was a little bit more flat. And then of course we know that I love to distress everything, so I'm just making this look a little bit more aged here. I really liked how this looked. I just used my emery board, or use your finger sander, sandpaper, whatever it is that you use, and then I just go over it with a baby wipe to kind of clean all of that dust off. And I just really like that vintage look that it has. I bought a package of these styrofoam balls at Hobby Lobby, so I'm just going to use those, but any shape or type of styrofoam that you have that will fit down into your box will work just fine. I'm taking one of the jumbo picks of holly from Hobby Lobby that I purchased. You can definitely use Dollar Tree holly if you have that or can find that. I am just cutting it up into little picks here, like little mini picks, and I'm just sticking it in to the top portion of this styrofoam ball. And you just want to make sure when you place it down inside your planter that it sits down in far enough that you're not going to be able to see the bottom portion of your styrofoam. Now, I noticed when you stick it in there, you can kind of see through the leaves there. You can still see the white of that styrofoam ball. I'm just using some hot glue and some moss, and I'll just put the hot glue in and stick the moss down in just to kind of cover that, so that way that white is not what is peeking through. You see the moss instead. This Dollar Tree candle riser fits in my little crate perfectly, but I do need to cut some of the bottom of my styrofoam off to make sure that that is not peeking out. So I just take some of my scissors and rip a little bit of that off on the bottom, and then I just use some hot glue on top just to make sure. I mean, it will sit on this just fine, but so it doesn't like blow over or anything like that if somebody was to walk by it. I'm just using some hot glue to secure it. I felt like this could use a little bit more red, so I'm just taking some extra berry picks and just sticking those sporadically in all around. Now, I realize that the song The Holly and the Ivy is not the most popular Christmas song, but I have found that a lot of people actually know the melody of the song. They just don't realize that that's what it is. But it is a really beautiful song that takes the holly plant and it translates it kind of into Christmas Day and the birth of Christ in a very beautiful way. But what do you think of this planter box? I think this turned out so cute. I found this cute little teal barn star. It's kind of got that tin and then a wood frame. I found it at a yard sale, and it was a really cute color, and I actually had anticipated maybe using it the color that it was. However, as it sat and stared at me from my stash over the last few months, I kind of thought I would save it for a project for Christmas, and I am so happy with how this turns out, and it will definitely get used from year to year for Christmas. But I'm just using some crimson chalk paint to cover it completely in Waverly's chalk paint, and then this metallic paint right here. Since this is tin and it did have that turquoise underneath, I didn't want to sand it to expose the tin because I was afraid the turquoise would show through. So I am just taking this, and on the high points of that tin, I'm just kind of distressing it to look like it's kind of weathered and worn. Now, I am taking two picks that I have that you can use, just evergreen picks that you have in your stash from Dollar Tree, the craft store, anywhere. And I will wrap these two together to make them look like a wreath. And then once I flip them over, I will just use some floral wire and just kind of wire some of the stems together to the back. You could also use zip ties, would work. I had several people mention that to me when making one of my wreaths, and I have used that hack and it is definitely wonderful. But you'll just go around and give this just that circular wreath shape, and anywhere you feel that you need to connect it together, you'll just do that. And after I've kind of fluffed it up and everything, I have this cute little ornament. Now, I don't remember if this came from Dollar Tree or Dollar General, but it came from one of the places. It just says Believe in some really sparkly writing, and I just loved it. So we're going to use that with our wreath. So I just used some hot glue and I pressed down these evergreen, I guess they're picks, but now it's a wreath, so I guess I could technically call it a wreath. But I'll just glue some hot glue onto the back of this, plenty, so it makes sure that it connects really well, and then I'll just press that down and hold that into place there. I just love that with the Christmas star and the word Believe. I just think that that Believe pops so cute on there, and you could embellish this any way you want with any types of ribbon or anything. In my house, we do use both the black and white and red and black buffalo plaid, so the bow that was on there actually was really cute, and so I just left it, but you could obviously change it to do whatever you would like, or use a different ornament that you might have. There's tons of ornaments out there that are so cute that would look so fantastic on something like this. And I feel like a lot of us probably have one or two of these little stars kicking around that we've used because they were so popular for such a long time. And I feel like they're still really relevant, especially in your Christmas decor. But I'm just taking a little package of these little berries from Dollar Tree, and I'm just sticking them in all the way around with a little bit of hot glue so they stay. And I just go around the whole thing doing that, just kind of to what looks pleasing to my eye. I think this is going to look so cute, either propped up somewhere like on a shelf or something. It even has a little hanger on the back, or if yours doesn't have a hanger, you could affix one to the back and hang it somewhere. It is so cute. It would be cute on a front door. I absolutely love how this one turned out. What do you guys think of this? Do you guys like these stars? Thank you so much for joining me today for these 5 under 5 farmhouse Christmas DIYs. They are definitely some of my favorites. Make sure you check my description box for the playlist link, as well as a link to Missy's channel and to Krista's channel. Make sure to tell them that I sent you and say hi to them. And you guys, as always, remember to be safe, be smart, be nice, be happy. Choose to have a good day because you are amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, here's another one that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and have an amazing day.